The stream was as dead as the Tasha picture. Oh, my camera was almost as dead. My camera was as dead as Troy. It's like, it could be dead, it could not be dead. It's in a weird place of unknowns. It's Schrodinger's dead pixel. Good evening. Yeah, I'm not impressed by any of the new... the old thing worked absolutely fine, clean, simple, easy. And the new thing is like, what? Like, trying to find monetization, trying to find how to change a thumbnail. It used to just be videos, edit. That's it. Now it's like videos, and then you gotta click on it, but there's not two versions of it. There's the it, and there's the other it, and then the other it. But then you, once you're there, you have more control, but it's like, what? I do like... Oh. Yep. Yeah. Oh, wait. I don't think you're sending audio out. Yeah, you're not. Desktop says nothing. Hello, everyone. You can't hear Stuart then. Okay, hold on. Let me... Just keep talking, see if it does anything. No. Sorry, guys. At least I looked quickly. Try again, Stuart. No, that was a whole story there, Stuart.
Right.
Audacity, probably.
But are they? Can they hear me now or no?
Wait, say something again?
Something again.
Yeah, I just turned on Audacity and I guess it reset it.
All right, so you guys can hear me now. I just
What
want to
was
make
that
sure that you
about?
guys can hear me.
What was that? Why? Sorry, Stuart, say all that again then about the live shit and the...
Oh well, yeah. Apparently YouTube thinks there's 3 lives coming out because I used the new live studio for live broadcast today, and it decided to send 3 things out. One's different because anyway. So here we are, guys. Sorry about that. The new YouTube stuff kind of sucks, as we were saying. The YouTube classic Creator Studio. Yeah, Creator Studio used to be great. I used to use the classic one all the time, but it's going the way of the dinosaur, so I'm forcing myself to use the new one, even though I absolutely hate it.
We also have 3 active versions of it right now, one of which has Jill's super chat on. We have 40 people waiting on one, 9 on another. We actually have 25 people waiting on the other. And there's actually 3 full conversations going with Jeff. Jeff picked the wrong one, apparently. So yeah, literally, there's 3 sets of conversations going on 3 different versions of it.
So which one are we on? We're on the one
that's
with
actually
the
live, but people are still talking. Okay, hold on. We are not on this one. Go to the live one. Wow. Well, it's a new problem.
Thanks, YouTube.
YouTube. Can you make it unlisted somehow? Like, my was just lower. Okay, well there you go. Raised it a bunch.
I don't know.
Whenever we take a break for a bit, something happens.
I know. It's the universe's way of saying that we don't deserve breaks. All right, cool.
Yeah.
There we go.
Why would it schedule? Yeah, but I mean, can you just delete the other 2?
That's what I'm thinking of.
Because now we know which one's the actual one we're on, I guess.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me see if I can. Again, dealing with the new Creator Studios, a joy and a half.
So I'll give the basic brief that you always give. While I'll vamp while you do it.
All right, cool.
There you go. So welcome to a Super Chat Live, guys. TNG Review, Season 1, Episode 23, the end of a legacy, the end of a special arc for a character, the Tasha Yar death episode. We both watched it in preparation for this episode, and if you want to support this channel, which you kind of need to, if you want us to keep going beyond this year, next year, and all the many shows that are coming up, which we want to look at, and please do Super Chat your question, comment, thoughts. We'll read them out. That's part of the deal. We have to read a Super Chat. And actually, we've never had like a truly awful Super Chat that we've had to read and it's been like, oh my god, what's wrong with you? So that's good, or you can be the first. Not that I'm encouraging it. Any super chat is great, from $1 all the way up to like 100. We've got all the spectrum, and we're going to talk here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours about this episode. And we're almost at the end of the season, to which we're going to do a drunk Trekyards. You guys have asked for another one, which will be a season 1 wrap up. We hope a lot of you will come join us for that, as we'll do a brief go through the entire season again, doing our favourite moment from each, our least favourite moment from each, and then I will reiterate the scores after a few drinks, and we'll see what is our actual ordered favourite episodes of TNG season 1, to which we don't know the order. We've been reviewing each one as it comes, and we'll be able to see actually in comparison, and we'll be like, oh my god, that's your second favourite, what's wrong with you? That sort of thing. So that'll be really fun. And us getting drunk by your super chats, which is a great way, really great way of supporting the channel, because we make a lot more from that, and it keeps us going. We've had a couple of bad couple of weeks on lives, not community wise, just the support, not because you're lack of trying, just lack of people, and so we're looking forward to that to have a bit of a jump, and then keep us going.
All right, I think I got the other ones deleted, so hopefully we are good to go here. People will catch on that this is the right one.
Yes.
Sorry, Jill, about your super chat. How much was it, and what was your question or comment? Because I didn't see it, unfortunately.
And they are gone now. Good job.
So, Jill, just reiterate your question in the regular chat. Don't worry about super chatting again. Hopefully we get the super chat. I think we will. But
SP Freely says, guys, the last Wesley Crusher appearance of the season. Ah.
All right, Jill put in $2. This was a really good Worf episode. He was great.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Jill.
Yeah. And I'll let you do your vamp while I share. 50
Right.
people watching. Talk about likes as well.
Oh, obviously. You guys like us. You know you do. And if you don't, well, then I can understand why. But just hit the like button. It's a great way to help out the channel. He's already talked about the super chats and how important they are. So, yeah. And don't forget to hit subscribe, as Dale said in the chat there. So, yeah. I apologize for YouTube posting 3. I don't know why that happened. Like I said, I tried the new Creator Studio. And, but anyway. Yeah, Jill, $2. This was an awesome Warp episode. He was great. He absolutely was, and we'll get to that when we get there. But yes, he was fantastic in this episode. Tasha, again, the writers just didn't know what to do with her, and it's sad. It's really sad, because I thought she'd have, from what I remember, she had more of a role in this one, but no, she dies like within the first 15 minutes or something. It's like, really? Wow. And then her little speech at the end, which was great, which I'm gonna read you what she says to everybody when that time comes. So thank you very much. 53 you watching. Everybody hit like. Let's hit 50 likes right away. And guys, also make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, because we're going to be doing another live tomorrow and then one on Thursday, I believe. So lots of lives, lots of great content. We have our regular Saturday shows. So lots of cool stuff on Trekyards. So definitely come check it out, and look forward to seeing you all at all these great videos that we do. Plus, the lives are fun, great community. We love interacting with you guys. We always see the same regulars. You guys are fantastic. Every now and then somebody pops in and says, I finally caught a live. It's like, yes, sweet. So, Dan says he didn't get any notifications, even though most people are complaining they got too many notifications because there was 3 upcoming lives because of YouTube. So I apologize. Wait, Worf did something in this? He did, actually. Yeah. It wasn't too much. It wasn't overplayed or anything. It was just perfect. So, yeah, Trek Reviewer, we'll mention that. Leland T. Lynch, Lieutenant Leland T. Lynch, Chief Engineer of the Week, as they tended to do in Season 1. But we'll get there. Let me see here. Yes, so cool. So Samuel is back. Sweet.
Done.
We're good to
and
go.
All dusted.
Let's get her going, man.
So your first.
Actually,
no, I want to go to. What was your, before you watched this episode, what was your mental remembrances, interpretation, your preconceived notions of this episode going in?
I remember it being kind of blah and but she dies in like the first 15 minutes or something, which is silly. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was going to be all right. I mean, it was a little bit different than I expected on the rewatch, a little bit more going on than I recall. But yeah, it's the order of things were kind of out of whack for me as far as how it happened. I thought she was around a lot longer in this episode. So yeah, but overall, I mean, it's a decent episode. It definitely stands out as one of Star Trek's most important episodes because a main character dies and doesn't come back at the end of the episode. You know, Scotty's died. He's been brought back, you know, things like that. But to actually kill off a character and just have her be gone and then come back in parallel universes and things like that.
Even Kes didn't die. She transcended and then came back and then didn't die again. Well, yeah. So it's like, yeah, has there been another death? Oh, yeah, well, yeah, Jadzia, although she half came back. So, yeah, this might be the only actual death without...
Yeah, I mean, Spock died, came back.
Kolber died, came back, neck snapped. I guess Landry would be the... Yeah. No, actually, yeah, Landry, she double died. She did come back, but not herself. She was also a security officer, also a woman. So I guess they hate security women officers who are strong. If you
I wouldn't say she was...
about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she was a main character, though, Landry. She was just kind of a hiccup.
I mean, she could have been if they'd played it that way, if you know what I mean. But they really didn't care.
Yeah. Jarzia puts in $5 Canadian.
Ooh, excellent.
As underused as Tasha was, and as pointless as her death is, the way they handle her death, funeral, and its impact on the crew did hit me in the feels. Yeah, they did a fantastic job with that. The ending of this episode is actually great, well written, well acted, just well played in general. Yeah, hit you in the feels. SP Freely puts in £5. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi guys. I was wondering if you ever reviewed the shuttle when it was in one piece. It's got a really odd design compared to most Type 7 shuttles.
No.
I don't know. We haven't really talked about the Type 7 or this one specifically.
No, shuttles don't tend to get as many views. We want to. I know I've got an episode that with a lot of shuttles, as you know, I've had for like 2 years prepped. Which is one of our like last like buffered really good ones. It's like that's easy, that's simple. Let's film it. Okay, cool. Well, now there's a new shuttle technically to add to the canon, which we'll complain about. Heh.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. So this starts on.
Well, you haven't asked my thoughts.
Oh, because I don't care.
I know you don't, but they might care. You have to
they might
care for them.
Fine. What are your thoughts?
Well, I haven't seen this one probably in about 10 years, if not more. I definitely haven't seen a high definition or on a big screen or anything, so it was it really was watching it for the first time again. Anything I remembered from it was obviously the Tar creature and her death, but I didn't remember the entire thing about him being what he was, how he was, and how much character the Blob got. So rewatching, I'm like, oh damn, this is like a legitimate villain with a legitimate, interesting backstory. They've really crafted this. And if Tasha just got brutally wounded and then come back, it would be an average episode with that spin of being, an interesting villain. So I was actually quite relatively impressed with it. But given all I knew it was this, you know what I mean? It's quality I was not expecting. I'm not necessarily going to argue it's an amazing episode, but it definitely gave me a lot more than I was expecting. And I think that's a good thing, I think. Yeah. My short summary. Don't leave too much away.
All right, cool. All right, so we start on Stardate 41601.3.
Yes.
The Enterprise is undergoing warp maintenance, so it's kind of cool to see it cruise by the camera with the warp nacelles off. Looks a little odd and incomplete, and like they messed up. But
yeah, instantly you're talking to the screen. Hey, you forgot to turn it on in the remastered. What's wrong with you? It's like no. Give it 10 seconds. It'll be explained.
So they're traveling on impulse to retrieve Troy, who was at some convention or whatever, signing autographs. They're picking her up in a shuttlecraft. And so that's where they're on their way to. And in no hurry, obviously, because, there's nothing really important happening. So time for warp maintenance.
Yes, they have to get impulse, which is interesting. And we'll get into it. And then Picard comes out, and then you get the longest conversation these two have ever had. Because really, when you think about it, they've really never talked properly. Like, these two guys are back of the bridge the entire time, but really, I can't think of any other real conversation they've ever had.
Yeah, there hasn't really been any.
And it was nice to see a little bit out of place. But that's what you always do if you kill a character, give them a bit more time.
Yeah. And it seems like they were like, oh, it's just your last episode. Here, have some dialogue. It's like, finally, you get something. But, yeah. Anyway, there's an upcoming martial arts competition, and she's favored in the ship's pool. And apparently Worf had bet on her because she's a sure thing. So, and she wants to practice this particular move on Worf to see if he can break out of it, or if he can't break out of it, then, she's good with that hold. So... yeah, and then all of a sudden they get an emergency signal from the shuttle, which is audio only. So there's a bit of an issue with the shuttle, and they are going to have to crash land.
Yes.
Well, they don't know that. They don't know that yet, but there's an issue.
And they don't actually say what's wrong with the shuttle.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's the creature. I'm assuming that's the context.
Yeah, but if he can pull them out of space, then why doesn't he do something at the end of the episode with the Enterprise?
Well,
yeah,
his power level was that far down. They presumably just warped out. So, well, no, they didn't. They torpedoed it. But, yeah. Otherwise, as I was watching, I was thinking there's very few planets in the galaxy compared to blank space. The chance of them warping or being broken out of warp or impulse, whatever, next to a planet close enough to get gravitated in is really, really small. So it'd have to be it forced them out of warp. Or do they say they're at warp? I feel like did they say they're at warp?
I don't think they said that. I would have wrote that down if they did. So, but
it just seemed a bit coincidental, unless it was putting them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but then Picard's like, engineering, we have an emergency. We need to get this taken care of. Lieutenant Commander Leland T. Lynch. He is the engineer of the week this week. And he likes his full name because later he says, Leland T. Lynch here, Captain. It's like, okay, chill out, man, chill out.
It's a weird line given the fact that he knows who you are. He hired you. He put you in charge of engineering today. You signed off on the thing for you to redo the thing, and you don't answer like that. So it's like, why on earth would that be in the script? It's not like too stupid, but it's just like, what?
It must be somebody. Maybe it's somebody's actual name, like a family member or something that they wanted the scriptwriter or one of the crew wanted to have in the episode. Maybe Who knows?
Fun. I like that.
Yeah,
with such a non-character, that would make sense like a cameo, like a friend.
Yeah. But the realigning the dilithium crystals is going to take 20 minutes, maybe more. We don't have that kind of time. Okay, well, I'll align them by hand. So there you go. I mean, cool. And so the planet Vagrant 2 is where the shuttle's going to crash. They need to get there. We can have it online in 3 minutes, but no guarantees. So they skip the safety protocols. The computer says that's not a great idea. They put the ratio 25-1, just so you guys know, for the impulse, the lithium crystal thing. I don't know. And then he's like, you have minimum warp drive, Captain. Warp 8. I said minimum warp drive, Captain. Warp 8 anyway. So I love that. So
I felt this was just heavy padding because this doesn't mean anything for the episode. I was waiting for this to be important.
Yeah.
Like heavily. Like
they needed to get the ship out of orbit or something, but because he did the dilithium crystals by hand, aligned them, they're not set up properly and something malfunctioned. Yeah.
Or they didn't have power to use weapons or shields because they subverted systems, or there's a feedback pulse. It's like, this entire setup is it's a really good setup.
Yeah.
But it means absolutely nothing. So I bet they just they wrote the script, was like, let's start a bit earlier in the story and give them a thing to do. And if the ship can do that safely, go from 30 minutes to 3, no safety, and still 8, and Captain, come on, warp 3, mate, come on, you don't do warp 8. I mean, I know it's like you're really risking all of your crew, completely unknown risk of getting blown up for just Deanna and a person. It's like, is that really worth all the children's lives?
Think of the children.
Exactly. So you go the safe level and you risk her death because, yeah, she's not worth 1,000 people. It just seems very odd contextually. Like, if that's a season 6 episode, you wouldn't write this scene. It just wouldn't make sense. You know? It sounds cool, but it's like, yes, but you're risking everyone for one person if you don't know the situation of. And most of the time, these accidents, they are either dead, not dead, or can't move anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Although it was a cool sequence with the whole lithium and the power up and such a well-designed warp core. You know, such a well-designed warp core. It's cool.
And Leland T. Lynch gets a lot of screen time, you know. He's doing his thing, so that's cool. Jarzia puts in $5 Canadian.
Thank you.
Now that I think about it, this is like Project Daedalus from Discovery. They finally invest in and make you care about a character in the episode they die in. Yeah.
Certainly close to that, yeah.
Which is a shame, because we've liked Tasha all along. We just feel like she was grossly underused. And I would be frustrated if I was her as well. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And don't you just love that top shot of the entire bridge?
Yeah.
There's actually some really good angles in this episode. They kind of went out of the box a little bit.
Yep. Well, they did that top shot once or twice in TOS as well, which is kind of cool. But yeah,
that design just holds up so well, you know.
Yeah.
If you rebuilt this today and like up detailed the monitors and stuff, and added more like weathering and more panel lines to things, it would look still amazing. Doesn't age a day.
Oh, it's a great bridge. So they arrive at the planet. Sensors show no life forms and minimal vegetation, and the shuttle is located under some kind of mysterious debris. And there's minimal life signs from within the shuttle, but there's no way to tell if they're both alive, just one of them, whatever. So, mystery.
Yeah, it's good so far. It's good build up. And they're like, right, get away.
The transporters, of course, cannot penetrate the debris that's on top of the shuttle, just because.
And Data's like, I'm not sure how that's a thing. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. Nice bit of confusion. But away team, they're going to beam right down. And I thought, wow, they built a whole shuttle exterior. It's kind of cool. It wasn't a miniature. It was a full-sized...
Did you notice the L-cars on the bridge, though? It's an intact shuttle under the debris.
Yeah.
They didn't bother, like, taking the warp nacelles and, they're scanning it. They should at least accurate representation of where the shuttle is in regards to the debris.
If you beam down, like, that's not what the scan said. Yes, I didn't put them on update. They're just on passive. It's like, what? Off. Mr. Off, do your job properly, or I'll kill you and find someone else. Oh, wait, that's someone else this week. Yeah, that's the problem with the future. It's like, there's no excuse for that. You know, it's like there's no excuse for the TOS Enterprise to be on the refit, really. You know, no engineer.
Yeah.
They'd lose their job if they let that happen in one of the movies. You know? It's just a dumb thing. Would have been, well, I guess it was harder to build an entire shuttle set, but I'm still impressed they built as much as they did. Although it really is just two bare bones nacelles and a thing. Because it's not the back of the other shuttle. Like, I don't know what this is meant to be. It's a weird looking sort of shuttle. It's got a big window.
I always thought it was the back, like my whole life, with just the orientation of the warp nacelles.
Yeah.
But
I would guess so.
Yeah. Hold on one second. I just got to take a quick phone call.
Okie doke. I'll keep talking then. So yeah, they beam down, and you get this nice big side view of Planet Hell, and the tar. Look, it's going to be a thing. People beam down. Take a brief little look, and oh my goodness, they don't know what it is. They don't know. We'll go around it, and it moves. And the effect, while basic, does move around all of the topography. Let me talk to the chat for a second. Remind me who died in Project Daedalus. Tasha was used a lot like a bride in TNG, if we can be honest. I cared more about Tasha than Ariam. You didn't know much about Ariam until she died. And yes, you weren't even meant to focus on Ariam as a character, but yeah, you were meant to. Dan23, in Stargate, they often risk aid to get a small number of people back. Yes, very, very true. but that's the military. We leave no one behind, and often that gets more people killed. You look at Black Hawk Down, they only get one person, they lost like dozens of people, so it doesn't, it's not necessarily a smart idea, it's just we'll get them back. Everything right, Stuart? Or do you have to go?
No, everything is perfectly fine.
Well, it's not, though, because we're 84 people and only 45 likes. It's not fine. But how can people make that better, Stuart?
By hitting like, obviously. People, come on now. Everybody hit like. Let's do it. Let's do it. Get to 50 likes. At least
100 people as well. Come on, guys. Jump in.
Sorry, guys. That was just a automated phone call that I had to take because I'm getting a couch delivered tomorrow. We got a whole new living room set. So.
Oh, what's wrong with the old one? Or you just want to refresh?
The old one's busted. It was a cheap ass couch. It was that big sectional that we have is like it was only $1,000, and it the springs went in it, and it's just shit. So, bought a nice new one, 2-piece with like recliners and everything. It's nice. So, anyway, sorry about that, guys.
And you're gonna take a picture and send it to me when you get the new one installed, right?
I mean, I can if you want.
Good. Do.
Okay. Fine. Listen to this guy. And it's funny because the couch is like a nice dark brown and light brown. It's kind of got like a, Enterprise D bridge feel to it as far as the coloring scheme goes. So
you should remodel your entire front room to that.
Oh, there you go.
So the tar, Stuart, the tar. It moves.
The tar. Yes, but they don't know how.
And it follows them. And instantly you think, why don't they just go in multiple directions? Because if all 4 of them move, will the tar be able to follow all 4 of them? If it does, it'll stretch it out, and there is a sense of finite tar very distinctly, because when it goes over the shuttle, it all disappears. So it's finite tar, but they never try. They just all go together. It's
Well, yeah, and no idea how it's moving. Insufficient data as to whether it's a life form or not, but it's probably a life form, says Data.
Life form.
You tarry little life form.
You murderous little life form.
Why are you goo? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
And Tasha is dead. In a moment.
Spoilers.
Anyway, so he says, yeah, it's probably a life form. And that's when it says, very good, Tin Man.
And the sound effects are pretty good in this one. It sounds like the Klingons.
Well, that sounds like the Klingons from Discovery.
I
think, that sound design's really good for him, I think.
Yeah. But we find out his name's Armus. And I got to admit, the effect of it moving across the sand is kind of garbage, even with the remastered. But the actual character when he comes out and he's like dripping with the... that's an impressive... I wouldn't want to be the actor that's under that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know how that was accomplished. I actually haven't looked into it, so...
I'm guessing it was like a Pacamac custom suit that then just, it's just like got his arms out, and it's just obviously more of him. It's like a suit, and...
Well, yeah. But, it must have like a breathing apparatus underneath, because... Yeah.
It's good.
Fleet Pass...
It's really simple. Like, it's almost overly simple. Like, it obviously reminds you of the Discovery one, which is a CG one, which actually looks more fake. This one looks a bit too fat, although kind of like that it's not like it's as close to humanoid as you can get it. All he's seeing is them. That's what he's replicating, which I quite like. But it's only could have done with like a bit more to it. Like it could have done with like tubes that were just like dripping tar down him like more actively to have a bit of movement. I think it's all it needed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah. Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $1.99. 50 likes. Let's keep it going. Go again at 100. Make me pay. Jeff's not here, so hashtag make Fleet Pass Swiftback pay. Jarzia.
That's a long hashtag.
I know, right?
Sorry.
Jarzia puts in $5 Canadian.
There you
go. The tar was Metamucil and toner ink. Oh my God. Frank actually submerged himself in it filming the scene, and LeVar told him I would never have done that. Well, I wouldn't have either. But yeah, that scene's actually pretty impressive, so we'll get there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Apparently there was no O2 tank. They had to hold his breath. Weak. Yeah, but
he had to hold his breath?
Apparently so. Now, obviously, they probably filmed like his submersion with all the cameras they had available. You know, it's probably because they keep showing similar shots. So they are different. So they keep like
yeah,
probably clever about
well, there's
it.
one scene. There's one scene. It's a far shot. You see Picard and him and the tar pit, and you can tell that he's composited into the picture. He wasn't actually in that scene. I got a screen cap of that because you can see that it's, you know.
That's exciting.
There was other than that, it was fairly well done. The amount that he went in and out, and yeah, that was probably only filmed like once. So
yeah. Well, back to Data for a second. I find it a bit funny that they're saying, "Is it alive?" Well, I can't tell. It's like 3 episodes ago, you found particles that combined that were sand and created life and almost destroyed the ship. You just dealt with a life form situation. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird they've sort of forgotten that life can be anything. I know they accept it, but they'd be kind of like, yes, it reminds me of this. Ooh, I wonder if it's life. Yes, it could be. You know, just tonally doesn't quite fit with 3 episodes ago when they were, it's life.
Yeah.
Small thing, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, Terman.
And but Tasha's like, screw this. I'm doing my job because I never get anything written for me, so I'm gonna do something. And she pays the ultimate price. She gets zapped into, well, a couple feet away.
Then they phaser him and it does nothing. And then they go over to her and she flatlines, and it is that quick and simple. Although in this
and it's rather
it's
rather early in the episode. I expected her to be in this more. I remembered her literally being in this more. I know she's at the end as well.
Yeah.
But I just assumed she'd kind of, you know, at least past the halfway point that this happened. But nope.
Yeah, it's really abrupt. And in most other episodes, you just revive her, you know? Although I couldn't help but wonder. Obviously, we know nothing about this creature, but at this point, it's a target creature, but it flung her using energy. And it's like...
Yeah.
No?
Well, it's got undefined powers. It can create, communications problems.
I know. That evolves, but at this point, I was just thinking... I remember it doing something different, like... It used tar against her somehow. So to actually have like force field, he uses force fields. I was kind of like, well, okay.
Yeah, I thought it should have at least hit her with like a tar bolt or something, because she's got that shit on her face later, that big black splotch. Yeah. That's never explained.
It's a bruise, I guess, just falls on her face. I don't know.
I don't know.
So yeah, and then he's like, bye bitches, and they're like, beam her up. She's actually dead.
Yeah. So then we get on the Enterprise, and she is on total life support, no brain activity. Because at one point, Riker's like, oh, you did it. Because all of her levels came up, and she's like, no, just total life support. There's actually no brain activity at all. So, again, and it's one of those episodes when you're watching it the first time, you're like, oh, yeah, by the end of the episode, she'll come back. Armus will bring her back to life because he'll learn the folly of his ways. You know, like with the way Scotty got brought back to life. You know, but unfortunately, and I got to admit, killing off a main crew member, even though I always thought she was a main crew member until I rewatched season 1, because now it's like she had very few lines. We should count them, actually, at some point, because really she didn't get a lot of screen time, unfortunately. Well, she got a lot of screen time, like her legs, you know, behind Picard, you know, but.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't feel like a main character now you watch it. It is a little bit different contextually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking back in the day, like, they're not going to kill her. She's not going to be dead or she's going to come back the next episode or something silly.
Yeah.
Just because she's on all the promotional stuff, like their faces were plastered everywhere back for advertising season 1. So. Let's see. We got money. We got PayPal money from Jeff Jacobs. He sent $7.
Cool.
He says, sorry, I can't stay today. Have a blast. I give this episode a 5 out of 10, season 1. And a 6 out of 10 for all of TNG.
Okay.
Hit like and subscribe. Hashtag MFPSB. I don't know what that means. Anyway, make somebody pay. Oh, make Fleet Plus Swiftback pay. That's what it is.
He knows. It was a plan. They took shifts. That's funny.
Thank you, Jeff.
So this scene, I think, is actually relatively well done. Her death scene. It's pretty long. It's pretty serious. You don't know until the end that they can't bring her back, which I think is actually kind of important. It's played for that sort of touch and go. And I like the moment, obviously Beverly's not letting her go and doing more risky things. I like the moment when she says she's gone, and then Picard sort of just turns around and quite like, what? No, I assumed you could do it, Beverly. I just...
I didn't read that far. I didn't read that far in the script yet. Are you serious?
Yeah, no, it's actually a really interestingly played scene. It's not the normal sort of character death scene. I'm not sure what I mean by that. I just mean it didn't feel like that.
Well, I mean, they do try bringing her back, with direct neural stimulation, 70 microvolts, 80 microvolts, 90. And then it's like, she's gone. So they were building it up like maybe get some brain activity going, and then maybe her die like by the end of the episode. Yeah. It just kind of went, like, wow.
Because that doesn't happen in most TV series. Obviously, this is, I bet the audiences at the time were like, wait, what?
Yeah, we were. I remember that. It was like, you actually killed a main character? What's going on?
I mean, it's the least of the main characters, obviously. The least lines of anyone overall. But yeah, it's...
Well, too much synaptic damage. It just basically sucked the life out of her, was the description. And
that I actually thought was important. It wasn't the blunt force 2 feet hits. It was actually he sucked the life from her. That I thought was actually kind of like, interesting. It was something spacey. It wasn't just she got thrown. So...
Yeah. Now we're back on the planet, and he's got the shuttle covered. He's talking to Deanna, however you want to say it. But your friends deserted you. I killed one of them. It had no meaning. It amused me. And she's like, no, it didn't. There was no satisfaction. It was too easy. And they have a whole conversation about being breaking their spirit, and you're not going to be able to do that, and they're going to come back. No, they're not. So yeah,
because you think you think what the episode is going to be, or at least what it could be, and as soon as she dies, you're like, okay, what's the plot? Okay, it does kind of shake you a little bit. And what do you think of the whole muck going onto the shuttle bit? I mean, it's done many times, but think about that as actually happening.
See, to me, I'm not sure if that's the debris that they saw, or they were reading on the shuttle that was preventing it from them beaming her out. But there's other debris there, which is just conveniently not or is that because of Armus? Is that because of the force fields that he's employing? It's just, I don't know. It's an interesting graphic to see it happen, and when it's encasing the shuttle, it looks wet, it looks good, but the move on and off is kind of like shadowy. It's almost like you can tell it's like an animation, but it's just kind of I mean, it's interesting, but is it really, does Armus need to do that to communicate with her? I don't think so, but maybe he's just like showing his dominance over her by like encasing her. I don't know,
because it was weird.
It opens up a lot of questions for sure.
So it was weird to keep her in a little box. And again, I have these memories of this episode of how I felt, but I actually thought it all kind of came together better than I remember. This visual is quite dramatic. But again, I said earlier, if this is all of him, that's not as much as you'd think. It's not as if there's still a pool. It's not like the episode of Voyager, not Year of Hell, but the Demon Planet, where there's like a lot of goo, and not all of it leaves the ship, because there's more of it, and like just sense of continuous, or the Great Link, it's just continuous. This is kind of like, that's just him or it. And I always kind of thought that the way why it did this is because it could communicate, obviously, but now she's kind of inside of him, as bad as that sounds, and that he can use the energy to like actively like torture her if he wanted to, but like embrace it and enjoy it because he's around her, he's embracing her. Whereas if he was outside of it, it'd just be like, snapping her neck with force fields versus torturing her slowly from direct contact. I was assuming something like that, kind of the more, because you've got to think, as we'll learn in a minute, he is just evil. So you've got to think that the worst case reasoning, I guess, for these things.
Yeah. Jill 47 says if he encases her, she can't be beamed out. No. Because then all the other times where he's talking to them, they could just be beaming her out.
Yep.
He has weird powers, undefined powers, and this kind of force field or dampening field or whatever. And that's what I mentioned earlier about the debris on the shuttle was preventing beam out, they thought. But I'm wondering if it was a combination of, I don't know. I think it's just his undefined dampening powers.
I didn't get the sense that was stopping. Otherwise, every situation you'd not need that. She was just using, just power of blocking beam effect. I mean, it's not as if he stays very far away from her, so I wouldn't be surprised as EM field, electronics, whatever. But yeah, I thought it was quite fun how
Martin Devon puts 2 pounds.
Ooh,
sorry.
thank you.
It's worse than that. She's dead, Jim. Yes, that's right. She's dead, Jim.
And I will actually say, I think Marina's acting this one's actually pretty damn good. It's an interesting balance of how she plays it. And I think it's really difficult to play literally against, she's in this little set with a blinky light. And someone off stage is saying, right, these are the lines, they're evil, think it. She's like, I am talking to nothing. Like, considering how little she's got to go with, I think she does a really good job. That she's not totally afraid, she's not totally whatever. Because she's getting all these weird senses. She's probably sensing that she can get the upper hand slightly, and there's something to, there's something there. So I think the acting is actually really pretty strong here.
It's convenient timing that you said that, because Joseph Petrick just put in €2 and says, this is the first episode where Troy was actually good. So
yeah, legit. It was a I thought she did a really good job. Although another thing, you realise that they made a very specific. Let's see if you remember it. What's the name of the other guy's name? What's the name of the other guy that's in the shuttle? Do you remember without the notes? Do you remember without notes?
I don't remember it without notes.
Okay.
But I do have it in the notes later. They say his first name and his last name, actually.
Yeah, I remember the first name. His name is Ben. And
Dover.
Yeah. So you don't often name the red shirts. And at any point, Stuart, do they ask about Ben Dover? Oh. Boo.
His last name's not Dover, man.
You shit.
Oh.
You almost got me to say something worse there. That was close.
I'm
Come on.
so sorry, man.
Super chat for Bend Over. Bend over and take the super chat.
Oh, his name is in my notes. I gotta find them. My God, my cough.
This is
Sorry,
why,
guys.
this
David
is why
Bessick.
you watch for his dad inappropriate jokes.
Yes. David Bessick, though, puts in $10.
Hey!
Sadly, can't watch live tonight.
Oh.
But here, take this.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Ultra helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ben Pretio says Trek Viewer. Something along those lines. So he slumped over his console, but there's a massive disconnect of anyone giving a shit about him. No one asks about him. Yeah, there's always a plural of survivors. I thought he was dead. I assumed he was dead. She knew he was dead. That's why she wasn't doing anything, because he was dead. And then suddenly at the end is like, he's alive. And I'm like, now people start caring? Why isn't she trying to, you know what I mean? It's like they just don't care about but then don't name him. First and second name. That's quite a legitimate thing to do. I don't know, just seemed a bit weird. And did that strike out to you at all?
Yeah, it was an odd choice to keep him alive and unconscious the whole time. If he had been awake, talking to, like, going in and out of consciousness, talking to Troy, that might have been interesting. But to just have him there slumped over the console, unconscious the whole time, and not have him be dead. Yeah. I mean, it's probably just they didn't want the cliche of, oh, he's obviously just dead. You know. A chance that somebody's unconscious and can be fine.
Although, what could have been really interesting, and it wouldn't have changed almost anything, if the first time that the Artemis, what was the guy's name?
Armus,
thank you. The first time he'd gone over the shuttlecraft, if then Ben had been like, because he's actually sucking the life force from him each time. That's like his recharge. And
that would have been better.
Okay.
Is if Armus took control of his body.
Ooh.
He was the one responsible for killing Tasha. Like, Tasha went up to see if he was all right, and he backhands her or something and flies her across the... that would have been interesting. And then Armus leaves him, and this ooze comes out of his face. And forms this big puddle. They could have done something like that. And then, him being alive would have been acceptable. Plus, that would have been... Could have made him like kind of like a Chief O'Brien character, where it's just semi-regular character, where he feels guilt about what happened to Tasha, and maybe develop him into somebody that we care about. But yeah,
I mean, his name's Ben. Come on, everyone named Ben's awesome. No, I actually really like that, and not just that. Not to go as I think Tasha Yar the way she did it was important because of how nonsensical it was. But a similar point, they could have had like the shuttle is obviously made of some anti-space material. If each time he goes into the shuttle, he's like a dripping bit of tar, because he's going through the hole, slowly corroding it. And in the last couple of times he talks to her, it gets into him, and you see Ben, head goes up and is saying to her in the guy's voice. So she's actually getting someone to talk to, but as he likes her more, and she's getting to him, he's not going to kill her outright. That's what he wanted to do, just have like pleasure of squeezing life from her. And those last little scenes that you have direct eye contact, and he could talk. That'd be really interesting and gruesome, or just torturing him as well to show how evil it is. That would have been really interesting, actually.
Yeah, considering that he is pure evil, that's something that we would do to elicit fear, and
Yeah, I reanimated your not dead but maybe dead crew member to torture you a little bit mentally. It's good stuff.
Fleet Pass Swiftback though puts $1.99.
Thank you.
Bend over and take it. Jarzia puts in $2 Canadian. # bend over. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Matthew K puts in $10 Canadian. First time, long time. Have you heard the Trek podcast mission log? Just curious. Love what you guys do. Keep it up. So have we heard of mission log, Samuel?
Yes. Let me give a picture to elaborate the fact that we've heard of them. Give me 1 second.
I feel like I want to say something, but I gotta wait now.
Oh look, it's us with mission log crew. There is no autofocus. Yes, there is. Look, there's us with the mission log crew. That's you anyway.
Yeah.
There's another one. I know the people. That's fun. Yes, we do. I've listened to them lots. I like them pretty well.
And it's funny because when I first met Rod Roddenberry there, I was like, "Hey, Rod, Trekyards, blah blah." Gave him my business card. We do talk about ships and tech, and he's like, "I got to introduce you to somebody." So Rod Roddenberry goes over and introduces us to them because they're working on a project about ships or whatever. So Rod Roddenberry actually introduced us to them. So yeah, but I've watched them off and on for quite a long time. So, but thank you for the super chat, Matthew.
Thank you. And Dan23 says, director Joe Scanlon famously said to the special effects team, "If you don't make this monster believable, we're in deep shit." Yes.
Well, they did a good job making it believable.
They did a good job. They could have gone further, but limitations of the time and budget, I'm sure.
Yeah. The same thing was said about Yoda. If the puppet doesn't work, the whole movie's going to be shit. And luckily, it worked out. So
same thing was said about Jar Jar. If Jar Jar doesn't work,
well, he's the key to all this.
That famous line of doom. Hey,
moving along.
Better than Last Jedi.
Moving along. So we're back on the Enterprise, and they're talking about our feelings for Tasha are going to have to wait until Troy's back aboard. Mr. Worf, you're now acting chief of security. And here's where we got the talk about undefined force fields, can't communicate or use transporters unless he allows it. So we really have no recourse right now. We got to go back down and keep them alive, or we got to go back down. Armus is obviously keeping them alive for a reason. He could kill them at any moment, but he is keeping them alive. So let's head on down. And Picard says, "Geordi, you may see something in the creature that could be helpful." So Geordi has a reason to go. And Worf,
although do you notice he doesn't have any effect apart from the blind gag? Like he doesn't actually see anything, does nothing. But even if it's redundant storytelling, it makes sense because that's what they would do. That's why we kept saying Tash should go down with the security team, because she's the security team. Sometimes just the going through the motions is important because it's the logical steps, and without logical steps, if you don't buy it,
I like the premise. So you might see something in it that we can't, and he goes down and he doesn't. So it's he doesn't have, he's not the plot device to solve everybody's problem every time.
That's a great point. He didn't just miracle man it. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And did you notice how, for some reason, they're on the opposite end of the briefing room? He's always on the other side of the head of the table, so he's on the other side. It's like, what? It just really stood out to me.
When somebody dies, that's the
Yeah.
dead end of the table. And it's interesting because Worf's about to go with them, and he's like, "I think I'll remain on the ship." And everybody's like, "You coward!" Like the look he got was like, you're afraid you're going to die like Tasha, kind of thing.
Oh.
He's like, the goal is not to engage it in battle at this point. The best things for me to do for my job is to remain at the tactical station. And Picard's like, that's a pretty impressive. Picard seemed impressed by that. So I just wanted to point that out.
I'll be honest, I didn't take that from that, but I actually love that interpretation. I think that's really, really smart. I took it more of that he is so well. Everyone's kind of surprised, but Worf's more surprised the fact that he's been asked because he's got the job, but he only had it for 10 seconds. He's not used that responsibility, so he's kind of like, no, I think I'll do the non. I think I took it as I'm a Klingon. People expect me to be all gunsy blazy, so I'm gonna say I'll stay up here to not do what they expect, which is if I go down, I'll shoot it. So I'll stay up here and do head of tactical things, and now I'm a head of tactical. And they were like, "Oh, wow, yeah, that's not okay, cool. That's not what I expected." But I love that interpretation.
That's the feeling I got from it.
So I don't think they would think they'd be that mean to say he was a coward. But I don't.
The look of surprise on all their faces when he said he was going to stay on the ship.
Yeah,
that's the vibe that I got.
Well, it's weird though because Worf has been given some things to do. No one's been given too many great things apart from the main few. But in this one moment, he stood out again, and you realize, oh yeah, he is a really good character. That one moment, that one decision, that one way he delivered it was just like, oh yeah, that's good acting. That's a good line. They somehow know what they're doing with Worf. They still didn't with Tasha.
Yeah.
They knew what they wanted to do with him, and they did it. That's weird.
Well, Giovanna Liviani puts in $2 and says, "Never liked Tasha, utterly hated Sela." Now, I can kind of sympathize with that. I remember not liking Tasha for a long time, and no real reason why. But now, having gone back and rewatched season 1 and really analyzed how underused her character was, I don't mind her at all. I just wish she would have got a chance to shine, and unfortunately, she didn't. So
she was basically a non-character in a character's position. But in a way that we're like mentioning Ariam from Discovery, she was never meant to be a character. They never gave her everything. She was just window dressing without any thought ever. Tasha had thought. Tasha had intent. Tasha had a mind and thoughts. They just didn't know how to utilize them. Ariam was a non-anything. She was just set dressing. And then they realized, oh, let's do this with her, and then make it play as if it's important. And you're like, no, it's really not. We don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for Worf, and they've been back down. And I love Geordie's like passive walking around. It's fun, although we're not quite there yet because there's lots of little scenes, I guess.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he's still talking to Troy, and he's like, the thought of them not knowing if you are alive or not makes them feel uneasy. Because killing Tasha outright didn't do anything for him, so now he's making them feel uneasy. He's trying to get that enjoyment other ways. And she says, "You were surprised they came back. Is it because the others did not?" First, hints of the story there. The others that left you alone, rejected, made you feel so empty.
Yep.
So I liked that. Her actually being able to sense his emotions and him not really expecting it was great. So
yeah, it goes real deep real quick, and I actually really like it. It's a good, very visceral info dump. Just 1 minute. Just need to grab a water because I'm like dying of thirst. But let me cut to the next image of the waveform thing on the planet.
Yep. So it leaves the shuttle and heads over to the away team, and then we get a scene on the bridge where they're showing the actual waveform and how it's lowering in spots and peaking in others. So the energy decreased for a few moments, which again you're going to see later. You're going to see more of the waveform. You can see the falls, the drops and rises in the power levels. Did the mud puddle steal Riker yet? Not yet. We'll get there soon. Trekyards says, I'm assuming that Troy has had some medical training to be a counselor. Should she not be able to tell if the pilot is dead without Picard having to check his pulse? I don't know if she can move because she's in the same position. I don't know if she's got something broken. It's never really stated, but she could be that she's just unable to move. Because, yeah, she should be tending to him at least. No, because he's slumped over a console. My apologies, guys. Oh my god. And Samuel's back. So, and then didn't talk about much, just the spikes, and we're gonna see more of that later. Now they say we need to treat our injured friends. Can we go treat them? And I love this scene with him and Crusher. He's like, say please. Please. I will allow it. No, wait. I've changed my mind. Like instantly, it's like
you dick.
It's just wow.
This is when the episode kind of goes like, oh, it's gone interesting. Like they're legitimately going all in on this genuine character villain, you know, because these aren't non-scenes; they're character moments, and it's like this is actually what this episode is. It's a character study on this evil life form. Did you explain what he was? Because I think we broke it down at this point.
Not yet. They haven't explained it yet. That scene's coming up later.
Okay.
But yeah, and here before that happens though, we see Geordi kind of like peeking out behind Riker and like bending down in front of Data, scoping him out. And I love that he doesn't say he sees anything special or whatever.
Yep.
I think that was actually really good use of him.
Good directing decision. And Raj says, was there a reason again they could not beam Troy from inside the shuttlecraft? Yes.
There's debris on the shuttle that prevents beaming. That's what they said when they arrived at the planet. However, we've now learned that Armus can generate undefined force fields and energy anomalies. So we're assuming just a dampening field of some sort. So.
Yes.
103
people watching, 70 likes, 1 dislike. Please do like, and please do super chat. We rely on your support, and some more will be great. That's great. But yes, they get to talk to Troy, and she says she's fine, but doesn't mention Ben.
Nobody cares.
No, even though she's the counselor, her job is to care about people. I don't remember what else happens in the scene, but
nothing really.
Yeah.
Then they go back outside, and they're talking about it, and how does that mean I do not exist? Data's like, no, clearly you are intelligent, but you said I did not register on your instruments. Perhaps your instruments are useless. And I had to do a frame by frame of this, of them flying out of their holsters, because that was hard to capture a screen grab because it's a quick scene. But I think Beverly's was meant to go, but got stuck or didn't go. Because look how high up it's sitting in the holster. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, but it is a doubly big tricorder with the extra pouch at the top.
Yeah, it's not a medical one. So, oh, and then right away, Geordi's visor gets knocked off, and there's a huge mistake here because he opens his eyes for a second and he doesn't have his contacts in. So you can see his brown eyes, and then in a second, when he's on the ground, he's got his contacts in, and his eyes are all white. So
that's hilarious.
I don't think he was meant to open his eyes. because they were closed at first when the visor came off. But I think it was just a natural reaction. He opened them for a split second, and I just got it before they panned down really quick. So, mistakes in TNG, it happens, man.
And it's amazing how the first frame is like, yeah, that's just Geordi. Then, whoop, that's just a weird guy. What? My visor so defines the look of the character. That's brilliant. Yeah. And at this point, it's interesting because it literally is just this dude being a dick to them. That's it. That's all we're seeing.
He's just a high school bully.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the one in TOS where they make, the midget, someone go on his back and ride out like a horse and Spock and stuff and saying knee and, the Greek people using powers just to make people be stupid, kind of that sort of vibe. It's played much darker. It's like, he's trying to help him, so don't help him. Data tries to help him, and then he punishes him by beaming it, which I thought was quite interesting. He can beam stuff.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it beaming, more like teleport. I don't know.
Disappears, so it's still, teleport. It's not beaming.
And are you going to help him again? No, you'll just move it again, so I'm not going to.
I don't want to hurt my friend by making it longer. It's really interestingly played, actually. And then he's like, well, fine then, if you're not going to play, give it back to him. And he does, and it's like, oh, weird.
Mike Shapiro puts in $1.99 with no comment or question, but thank you very much, Mike. Very appreciated.
Thank you. You are amazing.
Yeah. SP Freely's, or where is it? David Statzler says Geordi is totally Velma-ing right there. When Velma loses her glasses in Scooby-Doo, it's exactly the same. Which is ridiculous, because I don't wear I wear glasses. My eyesight's awful. But if I lose my glasses, I'm not on the ground like, I'm not that blind. I don't think anybody that wears glasses is actually that blind. Maybe if it's dark, you don't want to step on them. Maybe you'll do that.
I mean, Geordi has no eyes, though, without it. So I can see him being, because he has no optical ability at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. He would, for sure. I'm just saying. It's just such a cliche when somebody drops their glasses and it's like, oh, feeling around on the ground with their hand for it. It's like, no, you must be like blind. Because my eyesight's atrocious, and yeah, I can see my glasses on the ground. But anyway, sorry about that tangent. Where are we here? Oh, and I love how Geordi gets like, so he puts his visor back on and he like rubs his hands together. He throws his hands down like, bully. He gets so mad. Anyway, he goes back and talks to Troy and talks about, she asks, who deserted you? Who made you feel this way, alone and abandoned? And this is where we get the information. Creatures whose beauty now dazzles all who see them. They perfected a means of bringing to the surface all that was negative and evil within them. And in time, it formed a second skin, dank and vile. And that's me. I'm evil. And then Troy's like, they discarded you and left. You have my pity. To which he says, save that for yourself.
Yeah, what a weird... She should have known that pity was the wrong word. Pity was obviously going to antagonize him. Sympathy is the right word. It's like, alien life form can have me. You have my pity. It's like, you have my sympathy. What a shitty council thing to say. Seriously, that's just bad scriptwriting that line. But I think the explanation of what he is superb. And it's kind of like underplayed.
I want to know the race that are now so beautiful they dazzle all the... that see them. Like, I'm interested. Tell me more.
And he called them Titans.
Yes.
And if somehow just the negative energy of them, enough of them together, could give the thing telekinesis, beaming as close to, teleportation abilities, both for him, not him, the ability to potentially grab ships out of the sky. Like, that's a lot of power. These creatures must have been highly evolved.
And it's never clarified for sure that he pulled the shuttle down. It could have just been a coinkydink, but it's heavenly implied that he did. We just get no confirmation of it. But yeah.
And thematically, it makes more sense. Always, it's not just a random accident. But I think they give so much information for this moment. But then when I ask how old are you, it's like I've been here a very long time. I'm very It's like I'm guessing thousands of years. Like this is generations and civilizations ago, and I've evolved into this, and my hate has given me mental. I don't know, it's a really interesting concept. I'm kind of It's the reputation this episode has is the tar monster killed Tasha, but it's a very interestingly thought out tar monster. And it's not just a life form. And the fact that these alien creatures abandoned it, they abandoned a brand new life form, which they're responsible for. Is it's interesting. It's really, really interesting, actually.
Yeah, it has a good setup for a sequel, for him to come back at some point and get revenge on the Enterprise crew or something. Well, that might have happened in a book, a novel. I can see them using that.
An easy pitch would be, it's 10 years later, we're in Nemesis time, and the Enterprise E, commanded by Picard, is face to face with an alien ship, and on board is a person with like black tar eyes, and it's finally this creature managed to get off the planet by infecting someone else, and it's been searching the galaxy for him, and it's now it evolved even further as part of the ship, and now has goo in the ship's computers, and it can interface with the ship, which means it can spread its force, its power, and it's a really powerful force. And all you hear on the comm is this blank faced guy that isn't moving anything, it is talking, and it's just like a zombie dead with goo coming out of its eyes, just like, oh shit, you left it.
I'm picturing all that in IDW comic form, because that would be perfect for a comic.
Yeah.
But
because then I love the fact that hate is what's given its purpose in a sense, but now it's got a new crew to hate, like passive hate and suddenly new hate. I can see it evolving again because of that. It's just really interesting, underused.
I love S.P. Freely's comment. Oh, Armus, you sad, pathetic loser. I couldn't imagine how much it sucks to be you. It sounds like something a high school girl would say. Yeah.
Yeah, Troy, you're a great
you know who Armus reminds me of that we see later? And that's the Shellyak. Remember the Shellyak? Yeah. There's quite a few similarities there, but... Hellrats 96 puts in $5.
Welcome back.
Hey there, fella from Painfully Hot SWFL. I don't know what that means. I've missed a few live streams, but I managed to be here to say bye, Tasha. Thank you, Hellrats.
Bye, Tasha.
Brian Straight puts in $5. Hourglasses 2. Always bugs me to see sighted people in shows on the ground like Thelma when they lose their glasses. Doesn't work that way. Right? And Captain Spire puts in $5 as well. Thank you very much, guys. With Tasha having gone through a rough past, Armus could have tormented her to get back at Troy. In the end, Tasha sacrifices herself to rescue Troy. That would have been a much better story. But anyway, here we are. We use what we got given to us. So next scene is actually great. This is where the thing just gets pissed because of the conversation he's had with Troy. Goes out and just grabs Riker, and Riker's like, "Data, it's got me!" And he's pulling him back. I got to admit, the way this was filmed was actually pretty impressive. Because it's hard to see how he's being pulled back, and then just falling into this tub of goop, which always amazed me. I mean, the special effects guys said it was Metamucil and toner ink. I never thought that. It looks like tar. It looks like something that I would not want to be going into. So the fact he went in that is damn impressive.
As you know, it was legitimately Jonathan Frakes. Pretty much all the elements, and he volunteered, and he was like, "Yep," and it sucked.
Yeah.
Although the scene. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
And even later, they sacrificed. I assume they sacrificed a uniform for that. Because will you be able to get the toner ink out of that uniform? Sure. I don't think so. It's one of the uniforms that was just it's on its way out anyway. I guess
sold at Christie's, the completely black Starfleet uniform.
Well, I mean, Kirk's, whenever his needed to be replaced, they just ripped them And screw it, rip. But and then later when he gets pushed out of the goop, he lands on the sand, so he'd have sand all attached to him. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a rough day at work, man.
But it's interesting seeing the way it's played is pretty. I don't like the fact there's a weird close-up to Data though. That felt really out of context. I know they're trying to hide the editing points, but it's kind of like, and Data's Data's really fast. Like we've seen Data do amazing things, and the fact that he can't move and get him.
Yeah, that's why I feel like Riker's like, it's got me, Data. Like he actually says Data.
Yeah, and Data's close was just like doing nothing.
You can run fast enough and grab me and stop this, so please do it. Why are you not doing it? Oh my god.
Like it would have been nice if it cut to like a long shot of Data trying to move and the Force would going like,
yeah, or have him like whip back at the same time or something.
That'd have been good. Like quick cut would have been better, I think.
And it would have been better for tension because we were like, is Data now deactivated because he got zapped the same way that Tasha did? Yeah. And
you're speaking of how he went in. I can already see roughly how. You can see he's obviously like on a little like a movable slidey thing, and you can see the silver underbit. So it's on some sort of, it's either being pulled by people or being pulled by gas. As you see one of the little tubes of the thing he's on. I'm trying to think of the word, like, you know how food served on those little trolleys, probably like one of those little, imagine the top of a trolley and then being slid across, and then you can see the
like a tray or a magic carpet that's covered in sand, and then
because you can see his legs on a thing, and it wouldn't quite like that. There's this little silver reflection thing, so he's on a thing being pulled in, and then it cuts him more in. But it's damn good. I mean, for what it is, it's really well done. Although, even though it is Frakes, it should have been the other angle. Like, if we'd seen Frakes going fully.
Yeah, I agree.
But then...
I did that whole scene, and you didn't even show my face going in.
Well, that reminds us of the story where Troy did a stunt for an episode, and they're like, she was like, no, I want to do it myself.
She hurt herself.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a long shot, you can't see her face, and she actually actively hurt her legs.
She throws herself back.
And it looks great, but so does stunt person. What amazes me is that this is a shot of a person going to a tar pit, and then it cuts up. And luckily they cut away, so presumably they said, right, everyone hold, get him out, and continue the scene. That's why there's a cut there.
Yeah.
But it's almost
We got a few super chats. Let's get to those real quick.
Excellent. Thank you,
David
guys.
Statzler puts in $5. Do those shuttles have any facilities? If not, it's going to be pretty rank in there. I mean, I don't think Troy can move because she stays in that same position the whole time. It's never defined whether she broke anything, but she doesn't move to check on Buddy, who's slumped over the console. You think you could get him to a more comfortable position if you could? Just saying. So I think she's injured, so she can't move. But anyway.
Yeah, my thought was that she's broken her leg pretty badly and it hurts to move.
Yeah.
Because it does feel very like all the sets. So you can only film it from that one perspective.
She does kind of shift around with her arms and stuff. So they probably said, yeah, you got a broken leg. It's never addressed. It's never said. But, you know. Jarzia puts in $2 Canadian.
Thank you.
Armus said, touch him, and he died. Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right, because he calls for Data's help, and he says, touch him, and he dies. Yes. You are right, Jarzia.
Yes.
Howrats96 puts in another $5.
Thank you.
They should have just dumped a bunch of kitty litter on him. That would have taken care of him. Also, SWFL, Southwest Florida. Oh, okay. Thank you, Howrats, for clearing that up. But yeah, I mean, a great scene. And this is one of those visceral scenes for me. I always remember this from this episode. And later when the face, which is obviously just probably a mold of his face, does the and then pulls down and you see the... Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really good visuals.
Because I can't tell if that's a mask or actually things. There is little bubbles. There might just be a little tube in it. Although, yeah, presumably it's a face. Cause the way the eyeballs are, it's just... Yeah, it's ultra simple and ultra gross.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I think it is a mask because when it goes down, there's like stuff comes out of the mouth. So Armus has enveloped Riker. That's it. I'm beaming you up. And then Armus says, if any of you leave, he dies. And
I mean, he's just toying with everyone. You know, he could kill everyone at any point.
Yeah.
He could probably even kill the ship if he really wanted to.
But here we get on showing about the peaks and the lows of the energy wave. So we have that discussion about, we're going to be able to take care of this. When he envelops the shuttle, it goes down. So Picard's like, I'm gonna go down, and Wesley kind of looks at him like Wesley almost had a line there that they cut out. But I mean, your chief of security has died. The first officer is now enveloped in the goo.
Yep.
Is it really a good time for you to go down, Picard? I mean, are your diplomatic skills that on point that you feel you're the only one that you can't tell the other people what to say? You have to go down yourself? It just seems like a dangerous situation.
I think though at this moment, he's thinking Tasha's dead. Riker is most likely dead because there's no reason to think he's alive. There isn't. But, he's gone. So that's two of my primary people. Worf isn't quite assertive enough at this point because he's new to the job. And he's like, well, that's half my chain of command gone. This is not an average day. Because he's an assertive guy. He's been a leader for a long time. He's like, I'm going to lead from the front because I can do the most help at the front. Yes, it's a massive risk, but also the buck stops with him. So if he can get his people up, that's his first responsibility, even if it means sacrificing himself. And he does negotiate the rest of them out. None of the other crew could have done that. So I get why, but there's a reason Kirk also always went down and Janeway times went down and Sisko just went first. Like, why is Sisko the one piloting the Defiant? In the front of the battle, he shouldn't be, but he is. So, sometimes they do know better.
No, I like that he does. I like that he does. It's as you said, half of your chain of command is gone. Really, is it though? Because you still got Commander Data, who's actually third in command. You still got, and then you got a ship of 1,000 people. That's a lot of officers. And we've talked about that before.
I guess there's many of those that he trusts, and Data's on the planet, and he's dealing with Tasha as well. Because he does act a little bit off kilter a little bit this episode, in certain little moments, because he's obviously off. Yeah. But yeah, he beams down. Oh, and sorry, missed 1 second. The dude goes, the creature goes over the shuttle again, and talks to Troy, and she's like, "Oh no, what you did to Riker!"
Him. Yeah.
But you're like, this is strange because he must have dematerialized his body, because as he goes over the shuttle, like, Riker's in this. Riker is now smashed up against the hull of the ship. There's only one blob puddle. like he's literally in the puddle, so he's right there.
Yeah.
So like, he must have either just broken his body down, or like, there's never addressed. Cause there's only one puddle. Otherwise, they could just walk around it and.
Or it's a trans-dimensional thing, like the TARDIS, or like the thing that Daniels uses in the locker.
Yep.
But she says stop hurting him.
He's right there in the puddle, like he's.
Yeah.
Just makes you laugh.
And Armus is like, do you think he's dead? I would guess that, death no longer alleviates your boredom. So. Well, actually, sorry, it's Data that says that. I assume that Commander Riker's alive because death no longer alleviates your boredom.
That's a good line.
Torturing him.
It's a really interesting idea that he is just bored. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what he wants to do. I like it.
Fleet Pass Whipback puts in $1.99 and says, "Pain for 75. Smash like. Hashtag make me pay again at 100. 114 people. We should easily get to 100. Everybody just hit like right now. Pretty simple. And make sure you're subscribed as well to the channel. But yeah. So then Picard comes by, starts doing his thing, and then Data phaser. Well, it doesn't fire at anybody. But how would you feel being the cause of his death? And Data's just logical, rational. Says, "You're in control. I would not have been the cause of their death, so I wouldn't worry twice about it."
It's smartly written. It's well played. It's underplayed because you can tell that the vibe is, we can't do anything if it's like a bully. If you rise to them, I had a kid in school that used to make fun of my dad for being a Roman lover, and at some point when I was much older, I just embraced it so much that he would say, Dad loves Romans. I was going this massive tirade of facts about Rome. It's like, oh, so it doesn't bother you? No. I mean, if it doesn't think it's gonna bully me, then he'll stop, because what's the point in pushing a button if it's not a button? It's like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, we're not gonna play. If I kill him, I kill him. But you're doing it, mate. Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's well played. It's good psychology stuff.
Jill47 says, "Why subscribe? We never get any notifications." Well, that's why you hit the notification icon after you subscribe. That way YouTube will notify you. It's sad if you're not subscribed, Jill. You're one of our regulars.
Yeah, we need subscribers. That's kind of how people should know what we do, and it gives us a sense of how many people are. Not that equates to views, because 50,000 subscribers, and yet 1.3 thousand views for Rod Roddenberry. That you would think I'd get at least like 25,000 views, but no. YouTube tells it no one anything of what we do. It doesn't share anything we do. But you guys are here, and that's the main thing. Luckily,
that's right.
Luckily, we have the same time each time, which means it is, you know, you can guess when we do lives, which is helpful.
And I love Data's statement that he makes. You're capable of such sadism and cruelty, no redeeming qualities. I think you should be destroyed. It's like, whoa. Chill out.
Well, he did just... And the only woman he's ever slept with is dead. So, I mean...
It just made me point a phaser at all my other friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really radical Data line. Like, legitimately, it's so out of character, but it's really... Like, he's actually processing something he doesn't know how to process. You know, it's a good line. It's dark. And this is TNG Season 1, Stuart. Season 1. This is intelligent writing. Well-paced for Season 1. People give it too much shit, you know?
You can tell this is the end of Season 1, too, because they've already used up all the kind of Phase 2 scripts. And they've started writing newer scripts. It's what it feels like. It feels like the last half of this season is structured a lot better and written better. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons, because they didn't use carryover scripts from Phase 2.
Also, concepts. 7 months of learned lessons and 7 months of character knowing what they're doing and 7 months of, you know, budget able to be spent properly because they've built all the sets already, they've built all the costumes. Like, it's, as it goes on, it's being distributed as it should be rather than the initial setup. And I do think that it feels like a good sci-fi writer wrote this and understands science fiction, because it's a clever concept, well executed. You know? It doesn't necessarily come together in the strongest way because the Tasha stuff, but it's a good concept. And it's like the it stuff is well executed, you know?
Jill47 puts in $2 and says, "I am subscribed on 2 IDs." 2 subscriptions from Jill. Thank you. Notification bell doesn't help. Well, that's YouTube's fault. I'm sorry. We still need to say that you need to click it because it helps when you click it. Apparently, in the analytics.
AC Cousteau says, #remember Ben. Yeah, remember Ben.
Well, yeah.
He's not dead, but remember him. Hellrat96 says, YouTube notifications don't work. Yup. Martin Devereaux says, why Rod Roddenberry? Because we met him at South Las Vegas and want to interview him.
He says, why would anybody care about Rod Roddenberry? Well, a lot of people do, so.
Yeah. I don't get notified until 3 days later. Don't get notifications myself, but Robert Hayes just says they just put on the algorithm for me, so.
And yet we had 3 pending lives today all at the same time, and people were like, I got 3 notifications. So some people get them, some people don't. It's just kind of like, eh.
I think we used to be fair, and then it wasn't, like, pretty much overnight with us.
Yeah.
Weird.
But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this episode.
Yes.
So Picard says, you know, only I can command my people. Let me see the people in the shuttlecraft. And Armus is like, no, make them amuse me. Let me see my people. Then I'll let them amuse you. And then it's like, no, our business is with you is concluded. We're done. And then Armus is like, I want to leave this place. I have the means to give you what you want. Well, that's Picard. I have the means to give you what you want, but first I need to see my people. And then I wrote, Ben is alive. Because that's when we find out that Ben is alive.
And
he allows Picard to go in the shuttle. So,
well, I think he gives Riker back first.
Oh, he does indeed give Riker back first. I didn't make a note about that, but
Yeah, it gives Riker back first because let me see my crew. There's Riker, and it's really gross. It could be anybody, but he does speak, and it's like ugh.
it is rough.
That is a well-oiled man. And it's funny, this screen cap.
If Data had gone in, it could have been a well-oiled machine.
Well-oiled robot. Also, the
android.
No,
robot.
I know. Different. No, it's what the dude says. It's what the gloop guy says. That's why I'm making a joke.
Tin Man, I gotcha.
And it's just funny to cut between this amazing thespian, Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart talking to a goop puddle. Like, that's what a lot of these shots are. Luckily, they kind of edit it in a good way that he does jump in and out of being a dude. Like, it's interesting. It doesn't get too silly. And each time it does become a goop monster, there's a reason. Because he says, okay, I'll stay, we'll get you out. Let me beam people up first. And then he's like, no, seriously, let him beam up. And it's like, fine. And he comes up and they have a conversation. And he beams him into the shuttle.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. This is where he tells Troy that they weren't able to help Tasha. But he did check on Ben. Ben is alive, guys. Ben will survive.
First person to care about.
Yes. He also asked her, do you know why the signal is weaker when he's here talking to you? And the creature is filled with rage, undirected, unfocused rage. Then we get a shot on the Enterprise where it's like the force field must drop below 2.7 before we can beam them up. So now he's out again. He's talking to Armus.
And just two little side things. Vandal 4. I watched this episode many times and still do not get how the creature was stranded or how it was created. So, big special race sort of excreted all of their evilness, left it on a planet, and after lots of time, that stuff kind of evolved into a living creature, and then, classic sci-fi trope of that, just dumped on a planet. And Michael Williams says, desktop notifications work for me, needs turning on though. Go to settings, notifications, and turn on desktop notifications. So please, everyone who wants to be
if you guys
alerted.
If you want the notification, try that out.
Settings, notifications, desktop notifications.
Jarzia throws in $5 Canadian.
Hey.
Being covered in oil took Riker back to his less reputable days, working in nightclubs to pay off the Academy student loans. Alrighty then.
I like it.
Yeah, and yeah, this is some great acting on Patrick Stewart's part. Like the line deliveries are great. A great poet said, "All spirits are enslaved that serve evil." And then Armus is like, "You do not understand. I do not serve evil. I am evil." And then there's the whole, "No, you're not. True evil is submitting to you. I'm not taking you anywhere." And then
this is the sort of scene that TNG is known for. They're solving a problem, and I kind of forgot, literally within 1 minute of her saying, we need to make him feel. I already forgot that was a plot point until he's talking to him. Like, this is a very long conversation until you realize that's what he's doing. But it's doing it in a poetic, interesting, well-written way that is very still yet genuine from Picard. Like, I'm actually trying to understand you. I'm interested. I'm doing my job. I'm trying to save people, but I'm actually really interested. And it's a really good breakdown. It's really interesting.
Like you said, it's good TNG because it is. It's a TNG trope. And if this was TOS, this would be Kirk talking to a computer. You're not logical. You were built by people that weren't perfect. Therefore, how can you be perfect? What? I don't know what has happened. Oh my God. Blah, blah.
And that's not very elegant, is it?
No. And there's only so many ways you can do it. And they did it quite a few of them.
And he says, "I'm a skin of evil." So he does say it, but it's a good name. Like, it's a good idea of a, he's the skin of it. It's a smart idea. But it gets him right down. The chart goes all the way down. Successfully beams her away.
And then he says, "I'm not taking you anywhere." And he knew the transporter effect was already tingling when he said it.
And Artemis is like, "No!"
Artemis,
I'm just like,
Artemis.
I know, I'm sorry. And he's just yelling. I just imagine, like, he's just yelling for 1,000 years. And because I was like, oh, this is a very abrupt with double backstabbing him sort of ending, like legit.
And I was thinking the
backstab.
whole time too before this scene, like, why don't they just nuke the site from orbit? It's the only way to be sure. But yeah, they fire a torpedo, but that's to destroy the shuttle so that he can't use it to. So did they destroy him as well? They should have. That would have been the humane thing to do.
The shuttle.
Well, that would have been the humane thing to do, is put this thing out of its misery. If it was abandoned there, it's had a shitty life. Right? Like, why leave it alive and have the chance that it could pull somebody else down to the planet? And I don't know.
Well, it's such a Khan situation. Like this could have been, in such a weird way, his personal Khan, but in alien form. Like, you betrayed me.
That's why I said it would make a great sequel.
Exactly. Buried alive in my own time, my own time, my own time. Yeah, this torpedo is so absurdly abrupt. It's like, and top shot, and what? And it's clearly they reused a stock shot from another episode. They're like, oh, we need to add a moment here. Let's just throw in something in, because it's super abrupt, super dull. But it's like, yes, we just hit the shuttle. It's like, look at this explosion of this planet. That's more than a couple of miles, and the shuttle's 1 second. It's like 10 feet. Yes, yes. Captain's log, we destroyed the shuttle. Computer, go to secret dark log that isn't recorded. And we killed the fucker. Back to main log. And the shuttle was destroyed. All hands, yes. Like, he shot that bastard, and I'm going extreme because he literally just murdered him. Like, I don't know if it necessarily would kill it, but that explosion is destroy the entire area level of destruction. I mean, undeniably so.
It hit the puddle and it splattered everywhere. So now there's like a colony of Armuses, because there's like all little pieces, but they're small. It's okay. They're like this big.
Wouldn't it have been great if we'd seen like a post credits, just like T1000? You go to the planet, there's a crater, all the little liquids go bloop,
dun 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 dun
bloop, 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 bloop,
dun dun dun
and
dun dun.
Yeah, that'd be great. But it's really sudden and strange. And now we go to
funeral.
this blue screen funeral, because those clouds are not real.
Well, it's a holodeck, so it's supposed to be a stylized funeral.
I know.
I'm surprised they're not all wearing black with umbrellas and wearing sunglasses
And
in
it's
the rain.
raining.
Yeah, exactly. No, but very cool. He gives a speech about, blah blah blah, whatever. And now I made a point to do every line that she says about each person, because it's important. She's now passed away, so this is our send off to Tasha.
And before you jump to that, I want to say one thing about the before, as Tasha's going in, that looks like the Windows XP background.
That's exactly what I thought.
It's future proofing, and this hologram. People saying, how did they know who was going to be at the funeral and such? I think this is the future. There's probably recorded like 5 dozen messages, and then it just automatically knows who's there and gives you that bit, because it clearly looks at each person, because it's an interactive holodeck program. It knows who's there and it's dealing with that. You know?
See, I wondered that myself. Like, what if Commander Riker died on the same mission, and she's, that's just double punched everybody that's there. Like
Commander Riker. Oh no, Troy. Yeah. But can you imagine though if she recorded this like 3 years ago, and there's all these new crew members, and it's just like, imagine if there's season 2 and Pulaski's there. It's like, it turns Dr. Crusher. You're always the best of us. Oh, come on. I don't get one.
Yeah.
So anyway, now go to the serious stuff, because it was a good funeral, legitimately well written, and considering the lack of time they gave respect to the character after the death bit. Yeah. So go for it, Stu. I'll just let you do.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
One super chat first. Hellrats96 puts in $2. I wonder what would happen if the Borg found him. Ooh, Armus. I don't know if they could assimilate him.
They couldn't, but it'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And
all
do
right,
super
so
chat
here we go.
For her death. See how many super chats we can get for Tasha's death.
Some RIP Tasha's, yes.
Yes, for us. Thanks.
She says, I died doing what I love. Starfleet took a scared little girl and tempered her. And then she goes into, that's paraphrasing. That's just the heart of what she said originally. Now she goes into each person. Will Riker, you are the best. You trusted me, encouraged me, and more importantly, you made me laugh. And you hit on me every 5 minutes. But moving along. Deanna, you're capable of so much love. You taught me without ever saying a word. You showed me I could be feminine without losing anything.
Yeah, let's stop there. That was a really, like, the hell? What an absurd comment.
Well, yeah.
It's like, really? Really? How progressive is that? It's the future. Of course you can. What are you on about? And Troy taught you that? Yes, she gave you a dress once, but Jesus. It's like, that's a...
There's a lot we didn't see. There's a lot we didn't see.
Well, that's the thing. All this whole scene, you've got to assume that she'd like her a lot. Like, it works better than Arium, because at least we were meant to like her. Arium, she was just there. You just have to kind of, like, assume they had all the adventures together off screen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just want to point out that Troy thing, because it's laughable. It's like it's such a stupid line.
I kind of knew you'd have something to say about that.
Yeah, it's just not needed. Continue.
Worf. We are so much alike, you and I. Both warriors. Orphans who found ourselves this family. I hope I met death with my eyes wide open. Beverly. Your fierce devotion comes from within and cannot be diminished. From you, I have learned to strive for excellence, no matter what the personal cost. When was that lesson taught? Like, what is the personal cost that Crusher's gone through? Besides her husband, but it doesn't really apply to this situation. But anyway, that's all right. Wesley, I'm sorry I won't be able to see you grow into the exceptional man I know you'll become, but your kindness and innocence are ageless. Next, we're on to Geordi. Geordi, it was moments I felt the most despair. You took my hand and taught me how to see differently. You showed me to look beyond the moment and how to talk to computers. My friend Data, you see things with the wonder of a child, and that makes you more human than any of us. That's all Data gets.
And your dick is to die for. Data dick.
Well, when she said you see everything with the wonder of a child, I just imagine when she took her clothes off, he was like, giggity. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. And then Captain Picard, this is the best one. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. I wish I could say you were like a father to me, but I've never had one, so I don't know what it feels like. But if there was someone in this universe I could choose to be like, someone who I would want to make proud of me, it's you. You have the heart of an explorer and the soul of a poet. So you'll understand when I say that death is that state which exists only in the memory of others, which is why it's not an end. No goodbyes, just good memories. Hailing frequencies closed, sir. And then he says, au revoir, Natasha. Was her name Natasha?
Yeah, they say it in this eulogy as well. They start with Tasha Yar.
Yeah, well, that's dumb, but okay.
But I mean, one of the better funerals I've heard in TV. Like, those lines are good and mostly genuine.
Drugs.
What's that?
Yeah.
Drugs.
David Stetzler.
What?
Wesley. Also, don't do drugs. That should have been that.
Yeah. That was her other lesson. Yeah. I kind of feel like, though, because she was given so little time, like, if I said to you, it wasn't. If I said to you, it was written by the actress to talk about the actor friends she'd made, wouldn't that just fit so well?
Yep.
Because Rake's
dear,
just
dear
awesome.
Writer's room. And dear writer's room.
You gave me 39 lines in 10 episodes, and then suddenly 114 in 2, and then I died, and I got more lines in my and I got more lines in my eulogy than I did in 22 episodes. The fuck.
Exactly. And where I'm going, there will be no rape gangs. Anyway.
Although, to be fair,
puts in $10.
the part bit of alternate rape gags the Cleon Romulan people when she was back in future time, just saying.
And yeah, Lance, we did not miss a $10 super chat. I was just about to read that. We don't read them right away sometimes, so thank you though.
$10.
David Bessick puts in $10.
Ah, David.
I'm back.
Hello.
What the? F is up with her pants down by her boots. Is that normal for their uniforms? It looks weird. Yep, they have the V cut out so they don't get all wrinkly at the bottom.
There's also a
It's
strap.
actually kind of it goes around the boot heel. Yeah, it's like a stirrup. Yeah.
So it makes it kind of harder to walk in, but it keeps it crisp and neat. And there's other things we've done. It's not a new trick. I've worn it a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, what did you think? Rewatch this. Like, I haven't watched it in 10 years, so this was a fresh eulogy for me.
We're not. Oh, the eulogy part.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, actually. Her best acting by far in this season 1. So.
And it kind of worked that this is basically just a long monologue, right? But as she kept going, like, sometimes actors get better the more they speak. They're sort of building their own performance, and it's like the more she goes, it's like, yeah, she's really into this dialogue. She's really living it. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then everybody leaves except for Data and Picard. And Data says, "Sir, the purpose of this gathering confuses me." He's like, "Oh, Data? My thoughts are not for Tasha, but for myself. I keep thinking how empty it will be without her presence. Did I miss the point?" No, Data, you didn't. You got it. So there you go. Yay!
Also sweet. Well, 2 notes on that. When the creature dude was talking to him, he kept saying, "How does it make you feel?" I was waiting for Dave to say, "I don't feel." So it's kind of weird that in this scene also you get the sense he's feeling, even though he can't feel, even though he does. You know, small thing, but they haven't obviously even got there yet. And boy, the close-ups on Picard. I mean, that is a close-up of close-ups, you know? But given that Tasha and him had very little screen time, it was weird to focus on him. Like, it's just because he's the main character, because you never really got much of a chemistry with them, except the one time she flirts with him and says, "If you weren't my boss, I'd totally screw you." Which is that moment, which is weird. But, you know, of all people, it's just because he's the hero. Like, she needed some sort of confidant, like Geordie and Data are together, so that if one of them went, you'd stay with the best friend. You know, small thing. I just noted it was like there's a lot of close-ups on Picard, but the acting's great. I think fine job, yeah. So ends this death of Tasha Yar, which really isn't about the death of Tasha Yar. Weirdly.
Yeah. I just assumed she was in the episode more than she was. I didn't realize she got killed quite so quickly in the episode. But anyway, on this rewatch, you know, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'd say it's one of the better ones from season 1. Not just because it killed the main character, which is something Star Trek never really did. You know, like dead character.
Yeah.
Sure, they've killed people, but they always come back. But I really loved Picard in this one. I think he was the best part of this episode. And then let's not forget Ben.
Let's never forget Ben.
Hashtag never forget Ben, even though he's still alive.
Yeah, why wasn't he at the funeral or something? Like, give him a line. You know, it's like, yes, she died for me too.
Why wouldn't there be security officers in the background? There should have been more people at this funeral.
Yeah. Don't pay
this was just a eulogy, like the last will and testament kind of reading, I guess. But
you know what it should have been though? It should have been like 5 red shirts and Ben. This should have gone and Ben, you're always my favourite. I've known you for 10 years. We were in high school together. It's a long speech. It's like all I got was amazing. He's getting like 10-minute eulogy. The scene keeps going. And it becomes the delete extended movie version of TNG because it's just all the eulogy for red shirts. And Kyle, my second in command, you helped stop that robbery that time. And oh, Josh, we at the Chris's party we made out, but you know what? I'm too good for you. But in death, you can go after Lucy because I think you fancy her. It's long eulogy for team. Don't even get a second.
Oh my goodness! All right, so. Anyway, ranking this. I'm going to rank this it's got a memorable villain, which is great. Really could come back. Could definitely, it's sequel worthy for sure.
You never know. We've got 6 more seasons.
Right. He might come back. Yeah, we haven't seen what happens yet.
And I hear they might do movies after the show ends.
No, they won't.
Oh.
I can tell you right now, they won't.
But they might do spin-offs in the same galaxy and maybe even a different part of the galaxy. Who knows? I hear rumors, future rumors.
Now you're just being ridiculous.
And they might be a prequel, which undoes and rewrites a few things. But again, I'm just rumors I hear, Stuart. Rumors I hear.
They would never mess with canon like that. I don't think so. Anyway.
And I hear that after they'll do another prequel, which is actually a sequel prequel, which will actively try and change all the visual canon that they've set forth for the last 50 years and disrespect all of it because they feel like it.
But we have a super chat. Jarzia puts in $2 Canadian. Where was the 21 Dustbuster salute? Oh, good God.
I think it was with Ben. Ben was doing that with the security team.
Yeah, there.
Because did you know Ben designed the Dustbusters? He was important, you know?
Anyway, I'm ranking this. Be quiet. I'm going to give it a... Oh, let's see. 7.5 out of 10 for season 1. And for all of Trek, or all of season...
All of TNG.
All of TNG. All of TNG, I'm going to give it a... I don't want to say it's middle of the road, but it is kind of, even though it's got a great villain and a death of a major character, even though she was kind of a minor major character. So I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10 for all TNG.
Yeah. And guys, do put in your out of 10, both for TNG Season 1 and for all TNG. And just to reiterate, guys, as a few people called us out a few weeks ago saying, how could you give this one a 7 when you give Discovery worse scores? It's like, we say out of TNG and out of TNG Season 1. Of course it's not, of course the episode isn't a 7 out of 10 for all of Trek. That's ludicrous. But for TNG, very specific criteria, it's, what I mean. That's why Discovery can
Discovery is for Discovery.
Yeah, that's why it can be highly ranked and lowly ranked, depending on what it does. Right, my thoughts. I think this one holds out way better than you think it does going in, which kind of helps. If you think it's a low episode, it kind of helps, I think. Writing's really rather good. The pacing is a bit odd, but it's because the entire plot is this guy's screwing with them. And therefore there is a chaoticness to the pacing, which actually fits really well. And there's like chapters in a book of how it keeps going back to Troy, next chapter of the conversation of how it changed the character. Like it's an interesting journey that is, it would have been interesting if Tasha hadn't have died, if that wasn't written, if there wasn't a Tasha character, because I kind of feel like they have a certain amount of plot. They had to write Tasha in, they had to write her intro scene, and a different scene to delay them. Like there's a few things like they only had this much plot, but also there's a really long funeral, there's a really long her dying. Like there's a lot of stuff, even if it's hard to explain, but it's interestingly paced. But yeah, I think hopefully better than you guys all thought it was. I would say for season 1, I'm going to say maybe an 8. So I'm trying to think what was bad about it. Like, I remember thinking Troy was a damsel in distress, but no, acting was right on point. She really wasn't. Like, she was properly used. So I don't know what was bad about it. I really can't think of much. So I'm going to give it an 8, I think. And all at TNG in general, I'm going to give it a 5, which I think for me is pretty good right now. Mm-hmm. That it can get average for season 1.
Yeah.
Because the villain's great. It's notable for the death, and Troy actually gives a good performance, which is rare for season 1 because she's not given the best stuff. So yeah. What do our lovely fans say?
We've got quite a bit. Well, let's get to the super chats first, and then we'll read some of the other ones. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $4.99.
Thank you.
Got to pay on faith for 100 likes. Come on, guys. I enjoy the episode. 8 out of 10 for season 1. 6 out of 10 for TNG. Solid episode, and shocked us by killing off a main character. A major minor character. Or main.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jarzia puts in $5 Canadian. 8.5 for season 1, 6.5 for TNG. Picard versus Armus was an incredible scene. Mm-hmm. Also, I give this review a straight 10 for making a funeral funny. That's what we do, man. That's what we do.
I like to think outside the box. Yeah. I try.
It's like we're turning it into a wake. You know, you should be like laughing and having a good time, remembering the good times.
I mean, I think, ironically, we do remember her fondly. You know, we've relived this experience in only like a month and a half. And Tasha's pretty good for what she's given. And we're just sad of the lack of what she was given. But I'm excited to see her back as Sealer. And we know her in the SS Enterprise is excellent.
What are you talking about?
Well, I hear rumours, you know my temporal rumours.
Oh,
I hear that she's going to come back as a Romulan, but not her, Stuart. Her identical,
dumb.
her identical daughter.
Oh, that's just ludicrous. That's not going to happen. That is just insane.
Oh, you know what they should have done though? Even though she was way hotter, they should have brought when her sister's there. It should have been identical twin sister. That'd have been funny.
Yeah,
Brought
I mean,
back.
we just see. Yeah.
I think the sister's a really good job.
A mirror universe version of her.
Ooh.
Kind of like a different attitude.
Can you imagine
which we kind of got from her sister anyway, but.
Well, you can imagine DS9 if they brought her back as Mirror Tasha, just cause, that would have been really clever actually. Like, well, we're gonna bring back Tasha. 7 years later, and then Worf like.
They should have had her in Deep Space Nine, and they're shattered. Yeah,
well, that's what I was saying. Yeah, exactly.
What you said. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Because no one know who she was, would they? Like you wouldn't even reference it. They wouldn't. I mean, why would Cisco know that someone called Tasha died 7 years earlier? You don't reference it at all. She was part of the resistance against the Terran force. That'd be brilliant. Just there. Just evil Tasha. Yeah, why not? Why not?
And yes, AC Castillo, she does have a sister.
She led the rape gangs. I'm not laughing about that. It's a thing. It's just the way that they've said it. The couple of times they said it. It's not that it's a thing.
If it's the mirror universe, she should be leading the bubblegum gangs.
Leading the food relief gangs.
The virginity gangs.
The chastity gangs. She goes around giving speeches about chastity and celibacy and.
Yes, the celibacy gang.
Because Terrans are all about celibacy. Humans love to screw. Terrans love to not screw. It's Mirror.
Anyway.
God.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry guys, we kind of went off on a little bit of a silly tangent there, but that's okay. That's what we did.
Churning 3434 says, was it actually the best season 1 episode?
No. I needed a list in front of me to see what was better, but yeah, there were better ones.
I think we both gave one a 9.
And yeah, I think so.
Like, I don't want to rethink. I want to do the numbers at the end of the season and be surprised. Like Embrace, which was the best, because I don't quite remember. Samuel, please get VR. I mean, it's really expensive.
You gotta play Bridge Crew with me, man. It's been fun.
Well, I did buy it on PC, so I do have it now. But the Oculus, I mean, I've got to spend at least £500 to get a proper headgear. My PC can run it. My PC could do it. That's not a problem. But they're really expensive, and I'm not going to use it enough. And gotta get controllers. And why would I get a shitty one? Like the new ones that are like multiply. They're sensors actually that it's like that you hold it and it actually senses each finger, so you can move each finger. Like that I would buy, but that's like £1,000, and I'm not going to use it much. And I can't crossplay with you then, so there's no point. If you guys buy it for me, sure, because then it's Trekyards expense, but I can't afford it myself.
Yeah.
You kidding?
Anyway. So yeah, I think that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow we're going to be doing another one.
Yes.
Same time, same channel, same station, same series. Next episode, though.
Yeah, because we would like to finish.
What is the next episode? Oh, at least we'll have Paris or.
Yes, we'll always have Paris.
We'll always have Paris.
Then Conspiracy, then Neutral Zone. And I know I'm here this weekend. I don't know if you want to. Oh, that's a lot of lives. I don't know if you want to just burn through the 3 and do the drunk live on Sunday.
I don't know if I'll be able to. I have a air show this weekend.
There you go. So I know I'll probably do it next weekend, and we've got to do it on a weekend because that'll already push it back.
Depends. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the air show on which day I'm going to be doing it. So we'll see. It's a possibility.
We could always do a double episode. I just give less time. I don't know, because I'd like to do the Drunk Trekkers on a weekend, because 90 people isn't enough for a Drunk Trekkers. You'll get like 200, 300 to make it worthwhile. Because if you guys don't support the drunk, we won't get drunk. And it's meant to be a big celebration. That's tricky.
Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Just tune in tomorrow for another live review, and then Thursday as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we'll only have like one left, and then
We'll
arrange the drunk one at some point.
It will be fun. And who is the last super chat? Or who wants to be the last super chat? Hopefully we've got one more. Guys, last super chat. David Stetzler says, same Ben time, same Ben channel.
Who's Ben? What?
Ben, Stuart, come on.
I already forgotten. What? Oh, Mr. Dover.
That guy in one bit. Although he did get some lines at the start, to be fair.
Oh, actually, he did. You're right. And then all of a sudden, it's like Troy saying, "Yeah, the pilot's busy, so I'm going to talk now."
Just to confirm, she is there. Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But you know what, Stuart? It's amazing how there's, and I'm going to wait for the last super chat because one more and we can go. It's interesting how the sort of zeitgeist of what's a bad TNG episode. You know, I went in this episode thinking everyone says it's a bad episode. You know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple that people just don't like, and you have the expectation, and it's like, oh, it's not that bad. And I feel like, you know, we obviously, you know, call out what's bad in Discovery, but people use TNG Season 1 as an excuse, and it's certainly not the best TV show ever, but I mean, it's got very few bad things about it, and when another show does have bad things, you know, average is better than bad, you know, but considering it's 25 years older with the tech at the time, this was pretty groundbreaking stuff at the time. You know, a lot of these effects were like, damn, that was really well done. And obviously it's hard to look at them now that way, but if you look at Discovery, it's like, well, that was also badly done, but it's also, you know, front of the line, best of the day. It's like, that was still done bad and still...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd always rather have makes sense over looks flashy. You know? There's a great...
That's Discovery's problem there, right there.
There's a really great SG-1 episode, Stargate, where... It's a trap for some actors. It's a time dilation field, and at the end of the trap, there's a little box. There's a chest, and they walk up to the chest and they open it, and a force field locks them in. And there's another actor there, and they're like, this, and this, and it's as simple as possible because it's just the flashy. We have a big CGI force field for the entire scene, but the whole scene's about working out a riddle of how to escape, and so there's a force field. It's one of those classic invisible ones. So there's nothing to see except a forest and actors, but it's better that way. And it's a smart scene. It's well written. So it's like, you know what I mean? Smart over
What does that
flashy.
have to do with this episode, though?
And I'm saying that was smart over flashy. This is smart over flashy, but has a flashy for the time. Discovery is flashy over smart. And yes, they're right. 4 more likes. Can we get 4 more likes, guys?
Well, we got 2 super chats. Swiftback puts in $1.99. Cheers, gents.
Thank you.
Gustrel 1980 puts in $2. The Pornhub version of this episode for Skin of Evil. Moving along.
Wow. That went somewhere.
What a way to end, eh?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
We do in different ways. Yeah. 4 likes. Come on. 96. Come on. 4 more likes. 4 more
We're not
likes.
going to get it right now. We'll get it in rewatches.
We will. All right, then. Well, okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Lovely night. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.